Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we are doing a chicken gnocchi soup. This is a nice little creamy soup that will be easy to make. So we'll go ahead and get started. We need to take an onion. We're going to chop the stem end off. We're going to leave those roots on so that way it'll hold everything together when we chop it. So then we'll put it cut side down and cut it in half through the onion. Peel off the skin. This onion has a couple bad parts in it, so I'm just going to peel off till that goes away. That's kind of the nice thing about an onion is, if one layer doesn't look the greatest, you can kind of go down one more and you'll be all right. So it's going to get that off, get all that thrown away, give a nice little wipe down. And we're just going to take our onion and we're going to cut with the lines in the onion, but not all the way through the back of the onion. And then we'll give it a little turn and give it a little chop. And this way you have a nice diced onion. And we'll go ahead and do that for the other half of the onion as well. And I went ahead and added my oil to the pan and got it preheated, so that way when I add my onion we should be ready to go. So we got our onion ready. Yep. So our onions in. I need 2 garlic cloves, so I'm just going to take those. Get all the onion off my spatula. Take those, just smash them underneath my knife, and then give that a good chop. And then second, we'll add that. And we're going to use some shredded carrots, because they are a time saver, and you don't have to worry about trying to cut a rolling thing with a sharp object. You can just kind of just grab it and go. You'll be all set. So our onion's just about, or our garlic is just about ready to add, and we're going ahead and get our slurry made. So we got 2 cups of milk here and 1 cup of flour. What I want to do is just whisk this together. This is going to be our thickener for our soup. The reason why we're adding this to the milk, that way it will help thicken it up, because if we just add the flour straight to the hot liquid, it will just form dough balls, and we're not making chicken and dumplings, so we don't really want dough balls floating around. Just going to add all of our flour, get everything nice and mixed. Now scrape off a fork. If you have a whisk, that will work just as well. I have a fork right here, so I went ahead and went with that. I'm going to go ahead and add my onion, or not my onion, my garlic now, and my carrots. So we got our onions, carrots, and garlic in there. We're going to do that another minute or 2, and we'll be ready to add our stock to the pot. I cheated a little bit, and I went ahead, just for TV magic, I went ahead and I have my stock going, and I have my chicken in there cooking, because when we add our stock, we'll add our chicken. Simmer that for about 10 minutes, add our gnocchi, and then for another 10 minutes let it kind of all go together. Take our chicken out and shred it. My chicken's already done, just for TV magic. And then we'll add our kale when we add our gnocchi, so that way everything can kind of cook. And then we'll just, after the second 10 minutes, we add our thickener, which I'll explain here in a second once we get to those parts. So I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken stock. We're adding 6 cups of chicken stock to the pot. Add your chicken breast now. Set a timer for, bring it up to the simmer. Set a timer for 10 minutes, and then at the 10-minute mark, we'll add our gnocchi and our kale. I should have taken that with tongs, but having it over here. So we're starting to get a simmer already, so that's good. So I'm going to get our kale ready. So we're just taking it off the stems. We got about half a bunch of kale. If you don't like kale for this, you can always use spinach. It's a good substitute. Just taking it off the stems, just kind of pulling her off the stem. Take that stem, just throw it away. So we're just taking it, just kind of pulling it up or down the stem, either way. When I used to work at Huntington Prime, we had to do this every day for our braised kale because people went crazy for it and we'd run out all the time. So we're just going to take that, kind of bunch it up, and then give it a nice rough chop. Some pieces will be a little bit bigger, some will be a little smaller. If you want them to be all uniform, you can take the time to do that. I kind of like a little roughness in it. And I'll take my knife this way a couple times as well. So we're going to go ahead and add our kale. It'll look like a lot, but it will cook down, I promise. Add our kale. Add our gnocchi. Just kind of breaking them up so that way they cook faster. You can find these, in most grocery stores with the pasta. Sometimes they're in the aisle with the Italian food, but they usually have a couple different kinds. These are just potato gnocchi. Sometimes they're in the freezer section too. Whichever you prefer. I've used these before and had great success with them. So we're going to bring this back up to simmer now. And then once that's ready, let it simmer for 10 minutes and we can add our slurry. I'm just whisking this a little bit more to get the last little bit of the flour incorporated to the milk. And if you have a lid, you can put a lid on there too, and it'll help it boil or come to simmer faster. And now for our chicken, we can just take 2 forks and just shred it up because it's been simmered for 20 minutes. If you don't want to do that, you can easily dice it up and you saute it a little bit, then add your broth and do it that way. But I kind of like shredded chicken in soup, so that's why I did it this way. So our chicken's shredded up. And if you have leftover rotisserie chicken, that's a great time saver. You can just use that. We got a little bit of fat there, so we'll just throw that away. Just finishing shredding this up. Like I said, once this comes up to a simmer, I will show you how to thicken it. Because the gnocchi doesn't take actually that long to cook, and the longer the gnocchi cooks in there, it'll release a little bit of starch as well into the soup, and it'll kind of thicken up as well. We'll add our seasonings once we get it thickened, or once we get it up to the simmer and thicken it. So that way everything will be added. We just gotta taste it a little bit. This is when I wish I had that TV magic to where I just make it simmer right away. But we're getting close, so in a second we can add our slurry. Still a little bit of flour balls. This is a great way to thicken up soups too. When I do my chicken and dumplings, this is how I thicken it up. You can also do this for, you know, if you make gravy for anything. This is essentially just kind of like doing a cornstarch slurry, but we're using milk and flour as opposed to just water and cornstarch. So also, if you need to be gluten free, you can use cornstarch, but you know, flour's. I like a little bit thicker soup. Flour seems to do that better than cornstarch. So we're just about there. Like I said, if you put a load on, it'll come to a simmer faster. I didn't grab one because I think we gave all our lids to the Ron McDonald house for these pots. We got new pots about 2 years ago, and then we donated all of our old equipment, so that way they have stuff to use. I kept a couple of the pots. I should have kept a couple of the lids. So we're starting to simmer, so I'm going to go ahead and add our milk and flour. That's a little lumpy, so I'm going to grab a whisk real quick and just whip that. Should have done that from the beginning. I'm sorry, folks. All right. So like I said, we're just going to keep stirring, adding this in. And this will make the soup creamy and thicken it up a little bit as well. If you don't want thick soup, just leave it out. Or leave the flour out. You can still add the milk, it'll make it nice and creamy. And you can feel it as you add it that it is thickening up the soup. And then let's add our chicken back in. Give this a big stir. And now we have a nice chicken gnocchi soup. We're going to add a little bit of parsley to it. A little salt and pepper. A little salt. I just have my pepper shaker out here. There it is. Give that a big stir. And we are ready to go. This is a little thick, so we might change the recipe up to a half cup of flour and still do the 2 cups of milk. So I'll make note of that in the recipe for you. So I know it's a little late after adding it, but I'll make note of the recipe when I do it. So now it is ready to eat. So it's going to take a nice big ladle of it. It's a whole lot of kale there. It's going to be nice and healthy for you. And there we have it. It's a nice chicken gnocchi soup that's going to be great with this cold weather coming in. I hope you guys like it. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time.